Bob Harig's been on the show before. He's the SI golf writer, has the book out, Drive, Lasting Legacy of Tiger Woods. And let's get some insight. He had the Tiger and Phil rivalry book out last, and the Drive, Lasting Legacy of Tiger Woods is out right now. You can go to Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and get it. Bob joins us now. Hey, Bob, how are you?
Good morning, Bob. Welcome back.
Good morning, guys. I appreciate you having me. Thanks so much.
Well, we were looking forward to it. When I think of Augusta National, the Masters, in the last, how far back do I want it? 25 years, Tiger's win in 19 is the best Masters in the last 25 years. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think there's some recency bias involved, and I've made the argument it might be his greatest win. Certainly as the great Masters, and just for all the things that were going on and all the players that were up there that could have won, Koepka, Dustin Johnson, Schauffele, Xander. I mean, those guys were all in contention, and Tiger's the one who prevailed. Probably the least likely one to prevail, frankly.
And of course, he won it previously. I mean, how many times? When you're profiling somebody as prominent and an all-time great like Tiger Woods, do you have to kind of split it in two, where before all the troubles, young Tiger, and then post, almost like a football game in halves?
Yeah, I mean, you could really divide Tiger's career into that. Because up until 2009, 13 years of being a pro, there was really nothing but good. It was all great golf and incredible endorsements and iconic figure in the game. And then from 2010 to now, which has been about 14 years, so pretty much half, it's been the marital scandal, the injuries, numerous surgeries, the car crash.
Yep.
A lot of adversity.
And yet the turnaround has been absolutely incredible, given that you think of the scandal and he's done and everyone was kicking him when he was down. Today, and I think he learned this from watching, well, you tell me, Arnold, Jack, he's kind of the elderly statesman. I mean, he's taking a role in the tour moving forward. He's kind of the turnaround from 2009 is incredible 15 years later.
There was a time there where, Tiger was kind of toxic. I mean, in fact, a lot of people were down on him, and he turned people around. I mean, he's almost become a beloved figure in the game. Now, look, not everybody appreciates Tiger. There's a segment out there that never forgave him, that that criticizes him, wonders why he's even still playing. But I think the majority of people are happy to see him. They rally behind him. The support he got in 2019 was off the charts. It was amazing.
Yeah.
And when he came back at the Masters in 2022, 14 months after the car crash, the number of people there that were on the Monday practice round to watch him play was like a Sunday at most golf tournaments. I mean, it was incredible, the support that he got. And, I think the majority of people just want to see him.
The new book, Drive, Lasting Legacy of Tiger Woods, Bob Harig of SI is with us now. Bob, if he came back this year, hypothetically, and won the Masters this year, a guy who, missed the cut, it might be the biggest sports story outside USA beating the Soviet Union. I mean, if he could pull a W in this, it would blow people's minds, not just in the golf community. I mean, in the sports world.
There's no doubt about that. I mean, I think that would be there. I don't know that there would be a win in anything bigger than Tiger winning the Masters this year. He's not really put himself in a great position to do it. He's not played enough. There's been so little golf over the last year. You never doubt him, though. I mean, I just think it's silly to doubt him. It's sort of one of the tenets of the book. Tiger just has this sort of inner drive, this resiliency that just is not there in most people. He pushes through things. He fights through things. His attitude is, I don't believe that. I can do this. And so we're doubting him or we're questioning it. And my sense is he's probably not. If he's able to go, he's going to tee it up on that Thursday and say, I can win. And that's just how his mind works.
And by the way, to everybody listening, Masters Week, April the 8th through the 14th. What do you think? I mean, it's going to be really exciting, the fact that these live guys are back in, the former champions Dustin Johnson, John Rahm. What do you think's holding Rory back in at Augusta?
Yeah, great question.
Boy.
I mean, we're on 10 years now since he won his last major. He showed up in 2015 with a chance to complete the career Grand Slam at the Masters. Frankly, if you were going to lay it out and hadn't had any idea if Rory would win a major, you'd say the Masters would be the most natural one for him to win. It just suits his game so well. And yet, really, since 2011, when he had the 54-hole lead, 2011, think about that, 13 years ago, he still led on the 10th tee and then imploded. He's really not had as good of a chance to win since then. Some of his close calls have been more backdoor. Like he's shot a great final round like he did 2 years ago. He shot 64 when Scheffler won to tie for second, but he really wasn't in the tournament. So, I think he's gotten in his own way, frankly. There's a long time to think about the Masters from the last major to this one. Obviously, he wants it very badly. He's tried different tacks to try to get this done. This year, he's going to play the week before. He's playing in San Antonio next week at the Valero. Last year, he did not play, and he went early. That clearly didn't work. He missed the cut. I almost think for Roy to get it done, he needs to be a little bit under the radar if that's possible. Maybe it's good for him that Scotty Scheffler's won a couple times.
Sure.
And Rory, maybe Rory goes in there with a little bit of doubt. And what would really help is if he shot a good first round and wasn't chasing. He's been behind, and it's a hard golf. Even though obviously we see the great scores, it's still a hard golf course to chase on because you take chances that you shouldn't. Augusta's a course you need to hit a lot of greens. The winner typically leads the field or is second in greens in regulation. And so that means you're playing – if you're going to do that right, you're going to play to the center of the greens. You're going to two-putt. You're going to take your chances when you get them. If you get behind, you start firing at pins, and if you miss, now you're in trouble.
Yeah.
And so, it would really be nice if Rory could shoot 68 on Thursday, 69. If the leader's 65, so what? He's at least in the ball game. When you're over par – and you're 7 or 8 back going to the second round.
Good luck.
That changes your mindset.
Right.
Yep. Hey, Bob, how hard is it to do a book on present-day Tiger Woods when, since that incident happened personally, and I'm sure he made his inner circle even smaller. Getting information, even if it's on Tiger Woods' health, like how healthy he is right now, how hard is it to get information for a book on Tiger Woods in 2024?
Well, listen, I appreciate the fact that that might not be that easy. Because, listen, we don't see him much. His people aren't offering up a whole lot of info.
Right.
They've not said anything since he withdrew from Riviera, the Genesis, back in February with illness. And when he didn't sign up to play the Players' Championship, they didn't say anything. There's been no indication as to why he didn't do that. So in putting together books, certainly you're not going to get anything from them any more than it's put out publicly about his health. And so, I had to talk to a lot of other people. And when it comes to those sorts of things too, there's privacy rules. I talked to the doctor who did the spinal fusion surgery on Tiger, who's done, thousands of these apparently. But the only way he could discuss Tiger was just sort of in glowing terms I've supported him, and he's an amazing athlete to come back from this. But he's not going to sit there and tell me any of the details about, this is where I made the incision. And he can't do any of that. His trainer explained how difficult the task was for Tiger, his trainer at the time, and what they went through. I think you'll get a picture of just how dire the situation was, for Tiger back then. He was just trying to get get healthy to the point of being able to live a normal life.
Did your
play with his kids.
Did your research uncover something that surprised you, knowing all that we know about Tiger at this point?
Definitely in terms of what he was going through to have that surgery.
Yeah.
He was. It was worse than we thought. His trainer told me that Tiger used to say to him, the feeling was like bone on bone back in his lower back. And his trainer didn't understand that because he was like, well, that doesn't make sense because there's a disc there. That's the whole point of the disc. And even though that disc has been compromised, that wouldn't lead to that feeling. Well, they made this sort of clandestine trip to London after the Champions Dinner in 2017. They flew overnight to meet with these consultants. They went through all this testing. And there was this series of sort of x-rays with dye and things that they injected to get a better look. And when he saw the photos, the trainer said, now I understood what he was going through. There was basically nothing there.
It was bone on bone, yeah.
Yeah, and he
Wow.
said, I don't know how he swung the club to hit the shots that he hit in the limited amount of golf that he played. And so, they consulted. They came up with a plan. They ended up going to the Texas Back Institute in Dallas, this guy, Dr. Richard Geyer. I mean, and they did it quick. It was like 2 weeks later. They didn't mess around. And, the spinal fusion, if you or I had that, it would probably be 9 months before we'd be even thinking about swinging a golf club. It would be, several weeks, probably 6 weeks of pretty good pain and lack of mobility. And, listen, frankly, that's what led to the DUI Tiger had in the spring of 2017. He was on a lot of pain meds, and he got behind the wheel of a car, and, he clearly was doing some sort of sleepwalking type thing. He's fortunate. Again, nobody got hurt. But that was the things he had to go through. Tiger started swinging a club 6 months later. 9 months later, he was playing in a golf, or actually less than that. 8 months later, he was playing in a golf tournament. It's incredible. His fourth PGA Tour event back after the spinal fusion surgery, which was about this time in 2018, he finished second at the Valspar in Florida. He could have won. I mean, it's really remarkable. Forget the Masters. To come back in 2018 was incredible in itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the book's out now, Lasting Legacy of Tiger Woods. Pick it up, Amazon, Barnes & Noble. Bob, thanks so much, man. We really appreciate it.
We'll see you at the Memorial this year.
Yes, sir.